17 years ago, on a short bus in a small town in Washington, two idiots met. A bunch of stupid stuff happened. We want you to listen to those stupid stories.
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to Living with Humor. I got my co-host Brent and my very good friend Mica joining us today. Say hi, Mica.
Hola.
¿Cómo está?
Muy bien. ¿Dónde está la biblioteca?
Spanish for I don't bark in pumpkin
my Spanish. But yeah, no, we got Mica joining us today. I met Mica, how long has it been now? 4 years?
Oh, yeah, it has been 4 years. Feels like a lifetime.
And, but you know, that was fun. I invited Shekinah to that show, and then she invited you, and then I was bummed because I was about to leave because I didn't have a fucking ride because I can't drive, and you like chased after me.
It was so cool. So like obviously you were friends with my sister from work and she had talked about you, but then I saw you perform and I was like, oh my God, this guy's fucking awesome. And then we were hanging out for like 10 minutes?
Something like that, yeah.
Mind you, I was like sick as fuck and had taken like a couple of the sheets that you pop the pills out of Dayquil and was drinking, which was a bad idea. But yeah, you seemed cool at the time for sure.
At the time.
Things have changed since then.
Yeah, now she knows the real me. But...
No. So yeah, I chased after you. I was like, dude, do you want to like come over to our house? And then I spent the whole rest of the night trying to pimp Dayquil out on you for some reason.
Well, it's because I was a little sick too. And like I think I like sneezed or some shit. You're like, you need Dayquil, and you just kept. And then at some point,
like, pills I had left, I'm like,
you're like, Brock, promise me you'll take these. I'm like, okay, Mica, and I just put them in my pocket.
So you lied.
I did.
You understand? It was probably like 3 or 4 hours hanging out at our house that I wouldn't stop trying to get him to take the Dayquil, though.
Yeah.
I don't know what I thought was going to happen, but
peer pressure was going to finally succeed.
More higher, dude.
The peer pressure our parents are warning us about. One day.
Oh no, that was fun though. And I'm glad you chased me out because I didn't want to go back with I can't even remember her name anymore, that one female comic. Yeah.
What would have been the last we saw of you?
Actually, yeah, it might have been that we didn't become friends after that because after that night he just was like over at our house all the time.
Yeah.
That's usually how it starts. You just have one random interaction and then he just won't leave. The minute he finds out you got where all the good cookies are at, man, he's there.
It's like bringing home a stray puppy. It's your puppy.
You just come into the kitchen at 2 a.m. looking for that bag of shredded cheese. Brock's just there with a mouthful of cookies.
Sounds about right. Well, that's what happened with you, Brent. You invited me over and I pretty much just started crashing on your couch.
For about 4 or 5 years, yeah. And now we're coming up on year 13. So good luck, Mica. It's gonna be a long ride.
I don't know if I can compete. 13 years is a long time.
Yeah.
Almost half our lives we've known each other. So
that's Brock's couch now, basically, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
At that time, that was his couch.
Yeah. But Brent, you want to start us off with the next story?
Well, the next story is actually your story. And for those of you that don't know, Brock in high school decided it would be hilarious to enter into a musical that our school was putting on called The Wiz, which is, just the Wizard of Oz. And Brock's whole shtick for this is there was a box routine that was his highlight, his moment to just wow the crowd, and people would just wheel out this giant box. And there was a certain person who was the lead for the musical that Brock was kind of attracted to at the time. And he decided he would use this moment in time to try and pull one of the most daring heists ever. Do you want to explain it from your perspective before I just overlap?
So first off, I thought it was a good idea at the time, but so what I did was there's the scene where they wheeled out a box on stage, and you got Dorothy or whatever, and I thought it'd be funny, or we all thought it'd be funny if instead of like just pulling out random objects before they did that, I would pop out of the box. So I was like, it was I think it was the closing night, right, Brent?
It was the closing night. It was packed house. Literally, even the top rafters were full, and I haven't seen those things full ever.
Yeah, and it was right around like prom. So I wanted to ask the person playing Dory to prom. So I pop out of the box with a rose and ask her to fucking prom, and she said no in front of every fucking buddy. Yeah, that was bad. And I still had more scenes. Huh?
You didn't say yes.
No, she said no. She said nope.
Okay, that's wow.
Yeah,
I gotta say.
I was gonna say you spent a couple months in musical lessons because I got stuck. You were my ride at the time for some reason. I just take the bus and was like, I would just have to sit around after school for hours while you were doing the whiz rehearsal stuff. And I'm just sitting there scrolling through my phone like, there's nothing to do. Brock doesn't have any lines. He doesn't dance. He doesn't sing. It's the only reason he's here.
Wait, you didn't even do the Lollipop Guild song?
No, that's the thing. I did do that because I initially signed up because I thought it'd be funny if I was a Munchkin, and then I got the part of the mayor of Munchkin Land. So I was
the musical teacher had a very good sense of humor.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, I'm a little over my head because I had to because as you know, I don't dance, and then I can't sing for shit, and I had to do both.
Yeah. Can I just say that when you described this story in an overview, you said, "Oh, the Wiz story," and then immediately afterward, Brent said, "Yeah, it's golden," and I had completely different expectations about what the story was about.
A little bit of sleight of hand there.
Yeah, right.
My expectations for sure.
I'm still just like shocked though that in front of the packed house she had the audacity to say no.
Say no.
You were hinting at it to her for like I want to say 2 or 3 weeks. You had been building up to kind of like warm her up to the concept that you were gonna do this, and she was just gonna have to on the spot be yes or no.
Yeah.
And how's she gonna turn down the fucking mayor of Munchkin?
Apparently she's not a gold digger.
You're right, she turned down the fucking mayor.
But no, that even led to a whole nother story based upon you not having a date for prom that year. So like that was another story in itself for another time. But God, the Wiz was such a weird moment in time. I didn't even convince you to do this. Ray didn't even convince you to do this.
No,
I just took the initiative.
I just thought it would be funny, and then I got sick of it after the first 3 days.
It's like I have to sing, I have to dance, I gotta be fit. This is taking out of my me time. And it was like, what do you think this was? You're just gonna show up and just, all right, cool, I'm done. Good job, everybody.
I didn't think that far ahead back then.
Yeah, because like I did musical theater too, but it was like forever ago. It was like in 8th grade, and I only did it because I needed the art credit, and I was terrible at art. I was gonna fail otherwise, and I was like, well, maybe I'll use this as a chance to meet girls. It turns out musical theater girls are a little crazy, and you should not be involved with them. That was a highlight of that for me. I was like, I learned nothing, but now I can dance. Great.
Pretty much. I still can't dance, so.
Yeah, Brock didn't have to learn shit. He was always been the mayor of Munchkin Land, dude.
He was born for this role.
I was born for that role.
Because like at a certain point, once your status in comedy gets so high, like the mayor of Munchkin Land, it'll just be its own little special, and I will be
I have
so
to
tickled when that happens. I was
do have to
sitting
make
here
a
just proud papa crying. It's like, it happened. He grew up. Anything else I missed pertaining to the Wiz? I feel like I got most of it.
No, that was the main thing. Is I got rejected in front of like 500 people, so that was
cool. You were not at all upset about that, nor did we do a gratuitous amount of drinking after this, where several words were used to describe the incident at length for hours. At a certain point, I was like, "Yep, Brock, I hear you," and just kept playing Halo with Ray.
Yeah,
He was trying to get me obliterated drunk. Which, if you guys keep subscribing, we will bring Ray on, and we will deal with the punishment.
I don't know if I want to bring Ray on.
Ray is our third friend, Mica, and he is the person that is in charge of us at all times and has so much dirt on us that we're not certain it would be good for air to have him on. And all of our terrible stories will come to the light of day.
Yeah.
That's the best kind of person to have on. The person.
Yeah.
He was in charge of our bartending for our drinking.
Yeah, and he would just get us completely obliterated. Like, I'd be like, Ray, give me a Jack and Coke. And you'd fill like the whole solo cup up with Jack Daniels and put like a splash of Coke. And then be like, here you go, Brock.
And you would still drink it just because you're like, I'm not going to waste alcohol.
Pretty much.
Oh my God.
And then like on my 18th birthday, it's like, you're going to do 18 birthday shots. I think I got to 11.
Yeah, we almost
double shots, and I was incoherently drunk. I was like,
oh my God.
I need to stop. Everything's moving.
Whose idea was the 18 birthday shot? So they feel like it was Brock. Yep.
Yeah, it was my idea.
He was mad at me at the time, and he didn't want to voice it like an adult, so he figured alcohol poisoning and kill him. You know.
Brock don't give a fuck about alcohol poisoning, okay? Like, he's talking about Ray trying to give him too much Jack in his Coke. This man will drink like 4 Jack and Cokes, the double ones. And just yeah, I just drink Jack and Cokes, no problem. And then, like 10 seconds later, me and him are both like,
that was a mistake.
Oh my God.
Alive.
Yeah, well, I've definitely blacked out a handful of times at your house.
A handful?
We're out at karaoke and we had to call my sister. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh God.
Did Brock sing?
Oh yeah. Yeah. We karaoke. We fucking karaoke like nobody's
We
bitch.
kill that shit, Brent. We do Wanted Dead or Alive by Bon Jovi.
Yeah, we always do
Wanted Dead or Alive. Bon Jovi. That was the number one thing you play in the car, and you just stare at me. You're gonna sing along with me. This is gonna happen. And finally one day I was like, fine, we're gonna do this. I'm happy about it.
Yeah, I played a lot of Bon Jovi when driving Brent around.
I learned all the words of Living on a Prayer against my will.
Yes.
It's a great song, though. It's a great song. So I'm like, I'm not going to hate on Bon Jovi. Well, we're talking about living on a prayer, Brock. Do you want to hear the story of how I nearly died trying to get laid?
Yes, I do.
This is the story you've never heard, and I have to establish some kind of timeline for it, because I was telling Brock before we got on air, the 4-year anniversary of this on Facebook just happened because I made a post about it. I'm excited. But give a little context. I'd been divorced for about 2.5 years at the time that this was transpiring. I stayed single for that entire time of the 2 years after the divorce. I was just not in the right headspace. So it was like,
yeah,
being with anybody or anything was just like, nah, this is not a good idea right now. I'd be all kinds of messed up. So after about 2 years, I'm like, all right, I'm probably in the right headspace, kind of start feeling out the market, start talking to people, just see what there is out there, if it's even worth dating. And I connected with this one girl, and I started talking to her, and we've been talking for, I want to say, 2.5, 3 months. Turns out I was in the state of California. She lived up in Washington. And just we kept talking, and things started progressing a little bit faster and faster every day. It was like one of those cute text flirt things that got really out of hand. And all of a sudden she just like says passively, wouldn't it be cool if I came down and saw you? Me not thinking, yeah, that'd be kind of cool. Just responded to that. And she's like, okay, what are you doing in 2 weeks? Oh, wasn't expecting anything to happen from this, but all right. So she gives me a couple dates. I take those days off of work. I took a 4-day weekend off so I could, spend time with her and all that. And I was like, how are you getting down here? Like, I have money for a plane ticket. You want to fly? No. I want to drive. I want to do the whole spiel. So she proceeds to drive down here. And she shows up and things are going fine. We're starting to progressively get more and more intimate as time goes on. Ultimately, it leads to this moment that I will live in my head just rent-free for the rest of my life. She goes in the bathroom. She goes like, I'm going to go freshen up, that whole little bit that chicks love doing. I'm just like, guys are just like, I'm going to take it off you anyway. What's the point of this? But all right, you do you. Comes out, has a little outfit, super, super excited. Things keep going further and further. And this is the first time we're hooking up, mind you. So it's like, there's that little added pressure of just, you got to do this right. Everything has to be perfect. And then things start progressing, and Brock will know exactly the minute I use this word that things are all kinds of messed up. Her word that she liked to use when she was super, super turned on was daddy. Brock knows from experience, anytime any woman utters this word around me in any kind of sexual context, I cannot hold it together. So we're in the middle of just, I think she was literally like one leg here, one leg here. I'm just having a good time. This is great. And she moans out that word. And I just, oh God.
Started laughing.
One of those where you're like biting your lip because you know you're not supposed to be like laughing in class. Just fuck, turning your head into her thigh. Like, I'm not going to embarrass her. I'm not going to embarrass her. And then she hits me with the, why'd you stop, daddy? I was like, oh, fuck. Threw her leg off of me. It's like I need to go to the bathroom. I need to go to the bathroom. Be right back.
Fucking Brent.
And then next thing I know, I'm like, I hear her like rifling through her bag, like a cat out of hell. I'm like, what is this? I'm on the other side of the bathroom door, hearing her rifling through this. Like, I kind of stopped snickering. I'm like, what the hell is happening here? Mind you, I'm still completely in the bug, completely ready to go. I got a case of the giggles. Next thing I know, I hear her walk to the door. I'm like, what's happening? Next thing you know, whack, she kicked the door and hits me in the head, knocks me clean on my ass. I'm just sitting here all sprawled open, legs open, like I'm going in for like a whole inspection of my area. It's hard as hell. This girl, who mind you was like 5'0", had a Beretta pointed at me, locked and loaded, and was ready to be like, how dare you fucking embarrass me? You're such an asshole, such a piece of shit. I drove 12 hours down here. I got dressed up. I look super sexy. And then you fucking can't handle the word daddy? Grow up, you motherfucker. It's like I should kill you right here. And I'm just sitting here,
the fucking gun on you.
I'm just sitting here hard, terrified, and still trying not to laugh at this horrible girl what's left over of her schoolgirl outfit with the gun pointed at me. It's like,
with your gooch still spread eagle?
Still
with the Beretta? Oh,
yeah, I was like, oh God. It's like I'm painting a bullseye for her. And then I was like, calm down, it's fine. I'm so sorry. And Brock knows I can't resist making jokes at the worst possible moments. So it's like, she's like starting to calm down. And I was like, all right, just like your dad, you need to go out and have a smoke and just maybe not come back. And she's just, I'm like, oh no.
Oh God.
Sorry. Like, I'm sorry, you look great. You're amazing. I'm so sorry I did this. It's just that word. It gives me a case of the giggles. I'm so sorry. I don't know how to act. And like, I had to talk her down from this. And then she proceeded to stay 3 more days. And I just had to suffer through the word.
She stuck around after that? You let her stick around after that?
What was I going to do? I wasn't in the driver's seat anymore. She was the one with the gun.
Did you continue to make absent father jokes at a woman who clearly has daddy issues and a Beretta?
Brock, at this point in time, I was like, Jesus, take the wheel. If you take me, you take me. It's like it's okay. Like if I die, this is how people would want to remember me in the butt, cracking jokes. Mom and Dad, if you hear this, I am so sorry. I love you guys. You know be better than this, but my sense of humor is my sense of humor. And then had to organically try and break that off after she drove back home. It was just kind of like the slow play. The texts start getting smaller and smaller over time to let her believe the chemistry is dead. All the while, I'm just like, please don't come back. Please don't come back. Please forget where I live.
You didn't be like, hey, you pulled a gun on me. This isn't going to work out.
No, no. I took the classy route. I let her believe I was just disinterested.
Wait though. How many reasonable, nice girls have you ghosted?
None to my knowledge, but also I don't take hints at all when anyone's interested in me. I prefer aggressive women who tell me that they are into me.
I feel like you do prefer aggressive women. That's what I'm getting from this story.
I mean, at that point in time, for all intents and purposes, I could have had a fear boner. It could have been a thing. It's like there's no science to disprove that what it was, or that it was just, a regular one. But yep, that's the story of how I had a gun pulled on me while I was butt naked.
Jesus Christ, Brent.
And I have not brought this story up because there was no proper context to be like, hey, I just got pulled at gunpoint for my dick. How do you bring that up?
I'm surprised you haven't told me this sooner.
It's been 4 years, and I've held on to this one. That felt like it was more appropriate for if we ever decided to do a podcast. And now Mica's just privy to this knowledge and has to wait like a whole month to be like, I was there, but I heard this story. What the hell is this guy into?
Jesus Christ, Brent.
Yep, that was my love life, and then I was like, yep, gonna stay single for a while. Spent a whole another 6 months to a year just like, I'm not talking to anybody. I'm done.
Also, can I just mention the fact that you said you lived in California?
Mm-hmm. I live in California currently.
So this bitch brought a Beretta illegally from Washington to California just in case you didn't like when she called you daddy.
She said it was like, just in case you didn't turn out to be who you said you were. I'm like, you saw several photos of me. You saw my house. Like, what? She was a character.
No, Brent, I've been with a lot of crazies, but nobody's ever pulled a gun on me, so I think you got me beat.
My initial warning that she was crazy that I should have picked up on, but it's probably because she was half naked. I just completely missed the hint. But she had a Subaru car tattooed right across this part of her chest right here. And I was like,
fucking tattoo.
Girls that put a car on their body probably not all that stable. Should not be involved there.
Well, a car is one thing, but a Subaru? Fucking Subaru?
I don't know what kind of white trash story I ended up in, but it was the white trash Romeo and Juliet. I just kept making jokes and survived.
Except for Juliet, still Romeo in this one.
I went to my initial instincts of just keep cracking jokes. This will work out. And, well, still here.
Brent, she sounds worse than Babygate. I'm just going to say that.
We don't speak of her. We don't acknowledge her existence, and we pretend Babygate is
not be named.
in a gutter somewhere. Good riddance, society. Good riddance.
Yeah.
Brock, do you want to take it away to our new friend of Uncle Tony for commercial break?
Yeah, so we got a new guest on the podcast during the commercial break. We got Dr. Love. So be sure to submit your questions for Dr. Love and see what he has to say.
livingwithhumorBooking@gmail.com to submit your questions, and Dr. Love will get back to you and hopefully give you the advice that you are looking for. 2, 1. And thank you, Dr. Love, for those kind words of wisdom that you all should cherish and embrace to some extent. Who knows how accurate all of this really is. But we're going to come back with another exciting story for They're Not All Winners. Brought to you by me being an absolute putrid wingman for Brock during his hour of need.
You're a dick. That's what it boils down to.
So, long story short, I was fairly adequate at getting relationships back in the day. I would get in relationships for a couple months at a time. And usually about a couple months in, Brock would still usually be single and be like, I would try and be like, hey, you have a friend that can go out with my friend Brock. Usually kind of leave the whole out of the equation. Just kind of have it be a wonderful surprise for them on the already blind dates. Just kind of see how, things are panning out. And our usual spot, we'd take them to theaters and just have a good time there and see where things went from there onward.
Yeah,
you want to start off with your
first
story? Yeah. Do you want to start off with your first story, Brock? I feel like you're more fond of this one than I am.
Well, this is the time Brent metaphorically fucked me. So he was trying to date, I can't even remember her name. And then because he didn't drive, he needed me to drive him and his date around. So I was like, no, this sounds stupid. It's like, oh, don't worry, Brock, she has a friend. So I'm like, all right, fuck, whatever. And then we go to pick them up. And then while I'm parked and we're waiting for them, Brent goes, oh, by the way, I never told her that you were a midget. And I was like, you don't leave that out. Especially on a blind date. And so then they come out, I open the door, and I'm like, she sees Brent, looks at me, does a double take on me, and you can hear her go,
an audible sigh was heard. It was awful. I felt like such a prick as soon as she audibly sighed out loud. I'm like, oh no. Like, I always wondered what would happen if this, became a thing, but it's so hard to bring up. It's like, hey, my best friend is a little person. I know you prefer M for midget, and you gave me the pass for that word. But still, it's so hard to organically explain to someone because, I just didn't care. Like, between you and Ray, it was just like we were kind of a clusterfuck of people. It was just, it was what it was. It's never like, oh, this is only he's here because of this. And we proceeded to get them in the car, open the door for them, did the whole gentleman routine, just kind of got everything going.
And I'm trying to have a conversation with her, and she's giving me one word short responses. I'm just like, fuck, this is going to be a great night. And then she kind of started to loosen up a little bit. Once we got to the theater, I think. And
she
then
started warming up.
Yeah. And then so one thing about me is if I go on a movie date, and I try to do the whole put the arm around somebody, I literally have to be like, hey, can you lean over this way? I can't reach. So I'm like, hey, so I'm basically like, hey, lean over this way. I can't reach. And she just goes, and she's having a fucking seizure. And then, what I left out, Brent and I had this running joke. So, Team America World Police, the signal. So I told Brent before this, I was like, hey, if shit goes wrong, I'm going to give you the signal. Sure enough, she had a fucking seizure. And then I look at Brent and I just start doing this. And she looks at me, she's like, what the fuck are you doing?
As deadpan as possible, what the fuck are you doing? I heard her over the movie, and I was just like, I had my arm around the girl I was with, and I was like, yeah, things are fine. And I look over, all I see is you. And then she's like, what the fuck are you doing?
And then you start laughing.
I tried so hard not to. I was just,
Oh, God.
And then we proceeded to go to the waterfront. Things didn't get any better for you.
No.
She refused you offering her jacket, and your jacket was a legitimate leather jacket. It was a cold night.
That's right.
It would have kept her warm. It would have been fine. But she was so proud and so obstinate, just refused it outright. She proceeded to try and cuddle up with me while I'm cuddling up with the other girl to stay warm. It's like, Brock offered you his jacket. I am not No, you freeze for all I care.
Just
Like,
put
you
your
have
hand
lost
on her
all
forehead and just
Yes.
be gone. And I just kept her at arm's length, just kind of like, no, I don't want you in here for this. Like, I'm trying to date her. I'm not trying to date two of you. I only want this one. Not the model that I selected at this time. And that date went horribly, horribly awry. And I
It went fine for you.
Yeah, it was like a 1.5 month relationship that shouldn't have been. It was just a weird phase. And then, like, going back in time, even one relationship further, I've been dating this girl for almost like 9 months. Finally convinced her, like, hey, just throw Brock a bone. She'd met you several times. You guys had started becoming friends and cool with each other. So I was like, yeah, cool, whatever. And then this was the blind date of blind dates. It was a mess up from get. I had no idea, for the record.
I didn't either. I just show up. We just go to the movies. She's like, oh, by the way, I'm bringing my friend. I think you'll really like her. I'm like, okay, cool. And I feel so bad for telling this story. So her friend walks in and she has like a prosthetic leg and like.
Oh, she brought her triple friend for you.
Yeah. So basically her motto was, hey, you're handicapped. My friend's handicapped. Make handicapped babies. Like, and I'm just like, what the fuck? And I admittedly I was a prick that day, but
you were so mad that she had decided to hook you up with her of all people. It's like, it wasn't that she had a prosthetic leg that made her terrible. Because, like, she was totally cool for that part. But she was just a terrible human being that felt she was owed something because she had a prosthetic leg. I'm like, that's not how that works. And she was a jerk to you. She was cutting me off at every turn for everything going on. And she was even rude to her friend. And you're just like, she's trying to help you out. And you're just being a jerk to everyone in the vicinity of you.
Yeah.
For no obscene reason. And that triggered you. And I was like, I'm going to sit back and just let this play out.
Well, and then I can't even remember the joke, but I made a joke where I called her Peggy because she had a peg leg, and she fucking heard me, and she's like, "How dare you!"
And she stormed off.
Yeah, waddle, and she waddled away.
She was in the bathroom for, I want to say, like 5-10 minutes doing God knows what. No one checked on her. No one was even like remotely upset that she was upset. It was just like, I'm sure she had a terrible time, and looking back, we were jerks for what we did. But at the same time, it was like, I feel like if you want people to sympathize with you, don't be dicks to them. Like, I feel like it's pretty self-explanatory. And it was like, I'm sure that the girl I was seeing at the time didn't give her the context of you once again being who you are.
Right.
And for whatever reason, like, you whispered that very quietly. I barely heard you when you made the comment. So for her to hear you and both react immediately, I was a little shocked. Like, that was the one time you finally figured out your volume, because normally you're like whisper yelling at people things. And yeah, that was an experience.
Well, yeah, like, you guys had a good way of weeding out the dumb bitches, though, because if someone like couldn't like roll with the punches, like if someone was so like put off by the fact that you're short, like, why would you give me the time of day? So like, it gave you fodder for your podcast now, and you dodged a bunch of bullets.
Yeah, no, and that's a very good point. But there was another time where you forgot where basically we blindsided some chick. I can't remember.
I actually don't remember that one. Did we blindside Ashley? Because she's totally fine with name dropping her. She's excited for the podcast, but
oh, nice. Okay. No, I think it was Alyssa.
Oh,
yeah.
I forgot she was even an existent person, because she showed up like in our lives for like 1 month. one.
Not even.
But she was there prominently for that 1 month. And she was so turned off by you being short, which made no sense because she was like 5'1". You're like,
yeah, I could see the top of her
What?
fucking head. Like,
it's like, I am not a tall person. I can see the top of your head. It's like, this is all kinds of messed up. Like, you should not be the one judging. You should be sympathizing of all things. But she was actually pretty cool about it for the most part. It's just, she made it very clear that her standard for men that she was with, neither of us could have met the criteria. And she was explicitly rude to you because of that. Because she wanted to make sure you were just that person that was pushed off out of the way.
Yeah.
For whatever reason.
And then she ended up hooking up with Nelson.
Who will be the next guest on our podcast.
Yes.
So that will
That's why I
have to
brought
come
that
up. Well, while we're talking about other things just popping up, anyone have any good stories pertaining to people walking in on certain things that they should not be walking in on, Brock?
Do you want me to start off, or do you want to start, Mica?
Oh, God.
I surprisingly haven't been walked in on. Brock has been aware of things, but he never saw it.
I'm still fucking mad at you for that one thing.
Are we talking about the Duffield, or are we talking about the other time?
The other time.
Oh. I'll just flat out elaborate on this story. I'll just let it out because we're already basically there. So, like as Brock said, he drove me around for a long number of years. I was just too lazy to go out and get my license. It wasn't that I didn't want it or didn't care for it. I just, Like I could walk to my job. I'd walk home. It was only a mile. It was good exercise. I needed it because I'm very, very lazy. Then he was chauffeuring me and a girl I'd been seeing for a long, long time. She was hanging out at my house, and then
the one that hooked me up with Peggy.
The one that hooked you up. I probably should not keep using her name like that, but so ended up like chauffeuring me around, and then like we went from my house to your house, which was like what, maybe a quarter mile, half mile.
Like
it wasn't all that far. For some reason, the girl I'd seen at the time was like, "Hey, sit in the back." I was like, I always sat in the front with Brock, and it was always kind of helpful to see. He's got terrible night vision, so if he's ever driving you anywhere, you are his eyes. His eyes are obsolete. They're not existent.
Mica knows.
But, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say I worked with Brock, so yeah, I know.
Yeah. So I'm just sitting in the back, minding my business. We're all just talking, mind you. Brock's playing a bunch of songs. I think it was like Buck Cherry was playing at the time. I think that was a time where we were really, really into one of his albums. And I think Crazy.
Was that
the song
my Buck Cherry phase? Yeah.
That was your Buck Cherry phase. That was an interesting phase for sure. And just out of nowhere, not me starting this, mind you, not me starting this. She just reaches over, slides her hand right down my pants. And just
in my fucking car.
Starts jerking me off in the back seat of his car while he's driving.
Exactly.
And I'm just sitting here what's happening right now? And Brock's still carrying on a full-blown conversation. Mind you, he can't see it, even though we're only like
I wasn't like looking back either. I was focused on the fucking road.
And she's just going to town, just living her best life. And I'm just, what's happening? This is horrifying. But luckily, I had the wherewithal at a certain point. It lasted longer than it should have, to stop her and be like, yo, this is messed up. We should not be doing this right now. And it was like, also, we're going to Brock's house. His parents are probably still awake. The last thing I want to do is walk into their house just fully ready to go. Just, hey, guys. These were like my second parents. I didn't want to just be like, hey, everyone's seeing things they shouldn't have.
I thought you just waistband it.
You can, to some extent. But at a certain point, sometimes if there's like a lean or a curvature to it, it doesn't go just right. And next thing you know, it's like, it's like that's the last thing I wanted to have, like my second mother and my second father see me in any kind of state. I was like super respectful of that, but yeah, but also that was the same girl. Like you spent the night one night and she spent the night for whatever reason. She wanted to get super freaky while you were asleep. Like she kept trying to get you drunk so you pass out. And so she, you
Sounds
know,
about right.
and,
That's when she just gave me that full bottle of vodka. I was like, "Go have fun, Brock." I'm like, "Okay."
And then you passed out on the floor, not 5 feet from us, and then I proceeded to, you know. So things have happened within your vicinity. I apologize.
Piece of shit.
She was a nice lady. That's all I'm gonna say. But she was all kinds of ready to do things in situations that she shouldn't have. Like, you remember when the small bus got upgraded to that long bus for that weird period of time? She had me sit in the very, very back, put a backpack on my lap, and proceed to jerk me off while we're stuck in Narrows Bridge traffic. This is a high school bus. Windows completely open.
I mean, she had balls.
Yeah.
It's like, and then she started like trying to lean forward. I'm like, no.
It's a little too obvious.
It's like, we're not doing this right now. Flattered, but no. Yeah. Yeah,
but she didn't pull a gun on you afterwards.
Nope.
Yeah.
No. I kind of wish she did in hindsight, but anyway.
Yeah, right.
The beginning of the fetish would have had a clearer.
No, Brock knows there's a certain story attached to that I do not get into for obvious number of reasons.
Which one? Wait, what story?
You know which chick it was. You know what happened at the very end.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was not good, and I don't want to name drop or speak ill of someone who was part of my past. That.
Yeah, no worries.
But you said you got to go into.
Yeah, so it was when I was working with, I don't know if I can name drop them, but I was working with that one band, your favorite person, Mica. And we were at Uncle Sam's, that biker bar, and they're doing band practice, and there's this one chick that hung around the bar that I started messing around with. And then during band practice, I was like, hey, let's go somewhere more private. So I brought her on the tour bus. And the way the tour bus was set up was you go up the stairs, you take a left, and then there's a couch right there. And so, God, I don't know if I want to go into detail, but I had her sit on the couch. Because of my height, that's the best position for me, is if they're sitting on a couch. And as I'm doing my thing, I hear the fucking door open. And it's Glenn. Glenn's coming up the stairs. And all I hear is, Brock, what the fuck? And I'm just like, oh.
Leaves you my ass.
And yeah, that was the maddest he's ever been at me. And but yeah, so
he was mad that you were getting some and he wasn't.
Probably.
Yeah. Did you at least finish what you started?
No, because she got embarrassed, so we had to stop, and she left. I was like, no.
You're just like, what do I do with this?
Yeah,
your imagination or something.
Pretty much. Yeah, that was not a fun time. But he was so fucking mad at me. He's like, I can't leave you alone for 5 fucking minutes. I was like, you're supposed to be at band practice.
I'm glad I never had that happen.
Yeah, it's awkward. That happened
but
to me.
Also, shout out to little people. It's just standing height. It's just standing doggy. So any women listening to the podcast, that's your guy. You're welcome. It's my redemption.
Thank you for that plug, Brent.
I think that's one of the stories my sister told me about you when she worked with you. She was trying to say that she had a friend who's a comedian, and the only reason that I knew that you were short is that she was like, yeah, this stupid bitch who works with us asked him like the most insensitive question. I said, what? And she's like, how do you do it? How do you?
Yeah.
And I was like, why would she ask that? What the fuck? She kind of like, because he's really short. And he said immediately, no hesitation, he was like, doggy style. Duh.
That was a running joke for years that we had. Like, any time he'd be like, I can fuck a girl standing up in doggy. You're just mad that
proud
you
of
your
this.
back
I'm just going to say that.
Like, all right. Touche, motherfucker. Touche.
Yeah. God, that reminds me. you met one of my exes at a show. Remember the comedian, the fucking weird one?
Oh yeah.
I was dating her at the time when I don't know if I can name drop her, but when she asked me that, and fuck, I can't remember where I was going with that. But
oh, did you tell her that a girl asked that?
Yeah, I did. And then she said, I can't remember what she said, but she was a comedian, so she made a joke about it and then told it on stage at Dog Days. She did that fucking. She talked about it at Dog Days, and I'm just sitting there. I'm like, oh fuck.
It's like we need to break up or see other people. This isn't going good. Walk-ins are always fun, right?
No.
No. My brother walked in on me one time, and this is back in high school. And it's not one of those, hey, what are you doing, step sis? Like, this is my actual brother, okay? My brother. And this is back in high school when, like, I first started masturbating. And so I thought you had to get, like, fully naked. Like, it wasn't just like, oh, just real quick, just shove your hand down your pants. This was like a ritual. I lit the candles. I like
classic jazz music
I had
in the background.
the ambient noises in the background. This was a whole thing. And then like I'm like in the thick of it, like literally like just flicking the fuck out of it, just going at it. And then he knocks on the bedroom door, and I startled so hard that like my voice caught in my throat. So when I like jumped up and was like trying to say "Don't come in," it came out in a squeaky "Come in."
No.
Open the door. The porn was still playing. Everything was still like just really obvious. And, he just closed the door and walked away, and we didn't talk for a while. And then when I did ask him about it, he said, "What are you talking about?" And it never came up ever again.
Meanwhile, like a porn director's like, "Yes, this is perfect." But it's like, it's a horrible, horrible situation. Like he played it off correctly. He's like, nope, I have no part of this.
Well, you know what's funny? Like, I can see him reacting that way too, and just completely blocking it out of his memory.
He's just kind of like, yeah, I've had a couple near moments, but like never anything of that nature. That takes the cake.
Jesus Christ.
You caught me one time, Brock, when I was getting the moment started. It was one of your house parties, and I was with the girl that I should not have been with, because that was the girl that had been pissing you off like the entirety of that night.
Oh, fuck.
Like, I finally made it down to the guest room, trying to get the mood going. Things started going great. And then a firm knock on the door. And there you are. I'm just like, well, at ease. At ease. Moment has passed.
I forgot about her.
So that was a story in itself.
Yeah, that was a bad night.
God, this episode doesn't get us canceled. I don't know what will. So this will be like,
I'm sure
most popular episode or just our worst.
I'm sure the last episode's going to get us canceled. PETA's going to fucking sue us.
In the Arms of an Angel will make everything better. I'm sure they get like a certain percentage of that song's just gratuity. So it's fine.
So, real quick, Mica, last episode we talked about the very last house party ever threw. And it was like our own hangover night. Like we woke up and like all this shit went down. We didn't know what happened or who did it. What ended up happening was somebody shot my sister's fish tank and her hamster with a pellet gun. And well, I'm still and like it was this whole ordeal. And we woke up and nobody knew what the fuck happened until we figured it out last episode. Sam helped us with that.
Which is weird because she was preoccupied at the time of all the incidences. So it's like, how did you put all of this together? It's like, I got blackout drunk. You got blackout drunk. Mine was a little bit better blackout drunk than yours was. I wasn't hungover in the morning, but I threw up my ever-loving soul that night and rallied.
Yeah, that was a bad night.
My first college party at Brock's house, and the last.
Yeah, that's the last party I ever threw.
Oh God, that was a series of unfortunate events, one after the other.
Yeah, it was a whole ordeal.
Yeah, but
well, yeah, PETA's gonna sue us when that drops.
Yeah. 3 dead animals, and then a plastic alligator that I cared significantly more about than all 3 of those pets. The cat was fine. The dog was fine. Nope.
Yeah. Well, thank God they didn't shoot the cat or dog.
No, that would have been a full-blown investigation. No one leaves.
That would have been like you're Jeffrey Dahmer in the making kind of thing. Like even the hamster makes you sort of question, like.
Yeah.
It's like he shot the hamster, and it was like wasn't it like right in here? It was like a direct heart shot. You're like, who did this?
Dude, whoever did that, we should probably like look into it because they're probably killing people now, honestly.
That was
no, I know that's what we've decided. And like if I wish I could remember the guy's name. I don't even remember his last name. But I want to look to see if he's been arrested for anything. Because like not only that, Mica, but like, so the fish tank broke, and we think this guy, the guy who we think did it, he took one of the fish, put it next to me when I'm passed out in my bed. So like I woke up next to a dead fish, and then put the other fish with Anna's like animal statues that she had, because she used to like collect animal statues, and put the other fish with the statues so we couldn't find it because it blended in. And like it was this whole fucking.
Was the hamster still in its hamster cage?
It was in like one of the little plastic tube things.
Oh God. And there was a yard stake in the house for some unknown reason. That was.
Yeah, I still haven't figured that shit out.
Have you seen those little dioramas they use to teach FBI agents how to like forensically like analyze crime scenes?
Yeah.
That's what I feel like that room looks like.
Totally. Yeah, it was bad. But we got off topic. Yeah.
Brock's redemption story begins now.
Redemption story? What's the redemption story?
The redemption story of Mica going through your phone.
Oh, yeah. I didn't go through his phone. I did not go through his phone. I read over his shoulder. Because
distinction, but it counts.
Okay, I'm sorry. This does kind of make me a bad friend, but like, we were out and Brock had told me he was hooking up with somebody. And like, just to preface this, me and Brock have a very close relationship to the point where he's literally like my brother. Yeah. And like, so as many times as I've heard him tell his raunchy jokes on stage and stuff like that, in my mind, he's very wholesome. Okay. Until this incident. Yeah. You could say whatever for comedy, but we're sitting there, we're out drinking. Brock is very drunk. And he keeps getting these texts. Somebody's blowing up his phone. But then when he like reads them, he's kind of drunk and he like kind of goes like this, which is why it was so easy to read, because like he kept holding it straight down here, like trying to see it. You know how his eyes are. And he's like, every time his phone rings, I was like, what the fuck is going on? I had to see it. So I started like reading the text, and like, everybody's sex, right? Like, you know, my sex game isn't like necessarily the best, but I'd like to think I have some tricks up my sleeve. I have never read that raunchy of shit before in my fucking life. That bitch wanted it bad. She wanted it hard. She was like, braid my tight little asshole, fucking tear me up, motherfucker. Like,
all the shit, you're like, whoa.
And Brock doesn't know I'm reading it, right? Because the first text I read, I was like, what? And then the second text, I was like, I couldn't look away. It was like a car crash. Like I had to see what she was going to come up with next, because she couldn't possibly top it. And she kept going further. Talking about put a leash on me, fucking treat me like a dog, fuck me into the ground. Like,
take me to obedience school. That's the one I remember.
Yes, take me to obedience school. I was like, oh my God. And I'm reading these, and every time Brock is still like,
like an evil mastermind getting his plan to come together.
He's not even answering. He's not even like, oh yeah, baby, or like, yeah, bitch.
I'm just laughing and then putting my
He just kept letting her text him. He's just laughing. Oh man.
That was gonna be like a question I had. Was like, Brock, what were you sending to cause a woman to be that level of horny? Is like you made a woman like as horny as the Grinch made what's her face from that movie with Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey's Grinch movie. He made Martha May. That was her name. Martha May. Stupid horny. It was like that was your goal in life. You just nailed it.
Yeah, that was some Olympic level sexting.
Honestly, I was in awe of her. I mean, I know she's probably crazy because nobody that has a mind like that is like okay, but like you know what I mean. Like I was in awe. I honestly like I stopped sexting from that day forward because I just I feel like it ruined me.
You seen sexting so great like that? I can't stop that. Like I have skills, but
I had to bow to someone far more worthy.
The crazier they are, the better the sexing and the better the sex.
Well, that's why I wrote that one joke. Nothing ruins good sex like mental stability.
I mean, you ain't wrong.
As you know, Mr. I got a gun pulled on me.
Oh my God.
Sometimes I still fondly miss her. But then I remember she pulled a gun on me.
On your gooch, no less.
Yeah.
It's one thing to point a gun at you, but to point it at your gooch?
I mean, it wasn't necessarily the gooch. It was pointing my general direction. I just happened to be spread eagle on my ass. So I was like, that's probably what she was pointing at. If we had to just follow the transpiring of events and put our CSI crime together, that's exactly it's like. So the bullet directly entered his anus at exactly.
Yeah, imagine if she had shot you like the way you would have been found. I mean, it would have been the stuff of legends for sure, but.
Oh yeah.
And the trailer park that I was living in at the time, that would have made perfect sense.
We're living in a trailer park.
I needed a cheap place to live. It was affordable. I found somebody else who could like help pay with the rent on that side of the house because California is not cheap. And it was a cheap piece of crap that I used to save up money to buy the house I'm currently in. So I was like, it served its purpose, but that house had stories. Like everything got good with her for a little bit. Like I want to say day 3, my roommate and his girl were doing their thing, and like his girl was loud. I don't know how else to put context on it. She was loud. The girl I was with was loud. They were in the mood. We were in the mood. So we decided in the house that echoes to have a noise battle. See if we can get their girl to be the absolute loudest. That transpired, and then all I see is like I lasted longer than he did. So I was like, yes, victory is mine. And then my door was so fucked up, they put a doggy door in before I moved in, like one of those little flaps that opens to let a dog or a cat in and out. I never could figure out how to uninstall it. So all I see is a hand pop through a flap with a Gatorade. He puts it down, and all I hear is, good on you, sir. And then he just went on his merry way. And I was like, you know what? It's
just bros being bros.
Yeah, right?
Thank you. And like everyone met in the kitchen afterward, everyone just happy as hell, just dripping in sweat. You're just like, these are just things that people do. Like, trying to explain it like it's fucking normal. But, yeah, things that will live in infamy. We did go back for 2 more rounds after that, but he won the other 2 rounds. I gave it my all that first round, and that was it. I was ready for my nap.
Brent, didn't you hook up with a lifeguard when we were growing up?
With a lifeguard?
Or you were trying to?
No, I didn't. I did not try and hook up with any of the lifeguards. I was always intimidated by them. One of them kept insinuating that she wanted my number, but she was in college and I was still a senior in high school. So for some reason, at that time, my brain was rational and was like, red flag, red flag, red flag. My brain hadn't properly equated to red flags mean good sex. So I was like, nah, sorry. Like, I'm seeing someone, even though I was prolifically single at that point in time. I was just, at that point, I was like, no, this isn't gonna be good. You, on the other hand, you had some stories about being
yeah, this is when I was fucking stupid. There was a lifeguard that I was super interested in, and she would hang out with Brent and I at the pool, and things were going good. I can't remember what fucked it up, but at some point I finally grew a pair and asked for her number after like a month of hanging out with her. And
like 4. What? You slow
no, because it's during the summer.
You didn't have the nerve to talk to her for like the first month, and then she started talking to us.
That's right.
And then she was around for like 2 more months hanging out before I was finally like, just talk to her. What are you so afraid of? The worst a woman can say no to you is, well, worst a woman can do to you is say no, or hey, that's a tiny dick. It's like, if she's not a phase 2, so it's like the worst she can do is say no to you.
I just want to point out, according to text messages that I have read on Brock's phone, that wouldn't happen.
I have also heard the same corresponding stories. So Brock, we are wingmanning the shit for you because everything I have heard and seen would correct according to that.
Every time I try to wingman for Brock, he gets mad at me.
What are you so offended about? He's trying to help you out.
Just, at work, somebody is like, hey, is he single?
Oh, yeah, fucking, okay. We're telling this story. I was so fucking mad at her. So, we used to, or she still does, I used to work at a pawn shop with her. And this one busted up meth head tweaker bitch fucking came in. And she fucking...
She kind of looked like an old shoe, like, a shoe that you haven't worn in like a really long time, and it's been in the garage. Like, it had like a certain garage storage quality. You know what I mean? Like,
oh god, a lagoon creature, if you will.
Yeah, exactly. And then she goes, and like I help her with something, like she was looking at like a crossbow or some shit, and then and then I think Dre needed my help or somebody needed my help. So I excuse myself. I go help one of my coworkers. Then she goes over to Mica to look at jewelry. And then I guess she goes, so that guy that was helping me, is he single? What's his name? And then Mica goes, oh, I don't know. You should talk to him.
No, I didn't. I said, yeah, he's really single and looking, and like, you should really go talk to him. Like, go ask for his number. His name's Brock Terrano. You could find him on Facebook.
Funny man Brock at Facebook.
Yeah, exactly. And so like I come back, I'm at my till, and she comes over. She's like, "So, are you single?" I'm like, "Yeah," because like it's not clicking in my dumb brain. And he goes, well, here's my number. And I was like, what the fuck? And then that's when Dre goes, yeah, Mica tried to set you up.
I was just trying to plug you in. I didn't know. I mean,
it would have been a great story.
You did know, because when I came out to the parking lot and you see me walking towards your car, you immediately start busting out laughing.
That's so fair. I respect that.
And then... God, another story that you were there for was that Cookies. Bitch with a body like a sack of gravel.
Oh my god, that bitch was crazy. So every time me and Brock go out drinking, somebody tries to fight him for some reason. I don't know why.
What do you gain from beating up a little person? What is it?
I don't know. We'll ask that one guy from last episode.
Oh my god. So yeah, so we're sitting there at the table, we're karaokeing, we're just, we're just enjoying ourselves, like just having a good time. And this like bitch who's probably like early 60s, late 50s, early 60s, but trying really, really hard to look younger. Do you know the type I'm talking about?
Like the bedazzled jeans, the younger haircut,
trying to have like pigtails with ribbons on them.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Like pancakes worth of makeup all over her face.
Yeah.
Fine. I wasn't going to have a problem with her. She did have a body like a sack full of gravel. Like you could see it. And she's it's because it's not just the like the body isn't the right shape. It's also like it has like a lumpiness to it. You know what I'm talking about? Like cottage cheese through the clothes. But she's like wearing really
terrible.
She's wearing like really tight clothes, but it's like it's just cottage
It's
cheese.
not form fitting.
About gravel. It's like it just looks like gravel. So anyway, she's there. She's hanging out with these two guys. One of them is literally Humpty Dumpty. He literally looks like the cartoon egg from the Shrek spinoff. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Completely bald, luminescently white, in a bright pink shirt, shorts. And then the guy across from them that's hanging out with them, they're clearly like a group.
Yeah.
It's a Guido. He looks like he belongs on Jersey Shore. He's got the V-neck t-shirt like down to like mid nipple, like, and a gold chain. And like he literally looks like the situation. Okay. So that's me. They're hanging out. They're clearly one of the oddest groups of people that are at the bar, which is saying something. This is Bremerton. Okay. So we're sitting there, and this bitch will not stop looking at me. She's looking at me with the stank face on, and then every time I meet eyes with her, because she won't stop looking at me, she like whispers into Humpty Dumpty's ear. She's like, I'm like, what? I didn't say anything to you. I'm leaving you alone, even though you look fucking weird. Okay. Just mind your business and I'll mind mine. I didn't say that. I was just like getting more and more pissed because she wouldn't stop staring and whispering. And so, like, anyway, at one point, Brock goes up to put a song on, and the Guido dude is like, "What's up, little pecker?"
And I was like, "The fuck did you say to me?"
What? Why?
Yeah.
So then our friend that's at the table with us goes up and she's like, "What did you say to my friend? Like, fuck you guys. Like, you really want to say shit like that? You need to leave or whatever."
Yeah.
And the bitch comes over to our table and is like, no. This is all a misunderstanding. And I was like, I don't know, because you're fucking staring at us really weird. And she's like, no. It's because, listen, they're jealous because I want to fuck your brains out to Brock. And me and Brock had a cigarette in his mouth because we were about to go out to smoke, and it literally fell off his lip. Like, he just forgot it was there. He was like, and then we just turned around and went outside. And when we came back in, she was sitting on someone else's lap trying to fuck him.
But
and the two guys she was with were pissed about it. I mean, you can see they were pissed about it.
Yeah. She did have the greatest pickup line. She said, after she said she wanted to fuck my brains out, she goes, "And it's okay. My nephew's disabled too." Do you remember that?
That just implies you want to fuck your nephew.
I know.
What? That's terrifying.
Can you imagine what she was whispering in that guy's ear? Because now we know it was something sexual about you, but also that weird ableism mixed in. Like, I just
you're the little toy that could. What?
Well, then it gets worse because after I do a song and then I'm walking back to the table and then fucking Humpty Dumpty goes, "Fucking faggot." Remember that?
Yeah.
And then fucking I was like, "The fuck you say to me?" And he stands up like he's gonna fucking swing on me.
And then I was like, I ran over because I was like, "Fuck that." And then when we looked around, literally the whole bar,
the entire bar is standing behind me. And everybody's like, "Fucking do something." And then they fucking ended up getting
and Humpty Dumpty, and like the entire bar just assembly lined him out the door. Just threw him out.
And you said you don't have a following, Brock.
But the best part of that was that the older lady that those two guys were with was clearly their ride or had all the money or something because they couldn't leave. So they stood outside the window making
just mean
faces.
mugging me.
I'm serious, making faces like elementary school kids, like in the window the entire rest of the night while their bitch was trying to fuck every guy at the bar. She kept sitting on people's lap. She was like, "Ah." It was crazy.
Oh,
that's still one of my
for
favorite
a few years. Luckily, Mica's there to look over you. Someone has.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I got a new babysitter. God.
So, like, is it my week with you? Is it her week with you? Like, who's taking charge of this situation?
Custody arrangement is not
joint custody.
Yeah, you're full time. I'm part time. I got the luxury of like I'm still living my life.
Support, like.
I need some mental support.
You never come with me to his fucking
school recitals, his whiz performances.
That was to this day that was like the most embarrassed I've ever been.
The whiz or just that bar?
Huh?
When that bitch said she wanted to fuck your brains out?
No. He brought up the whiz, and I said,
"Oh, sorry."
I meant the whiz.
I'm making sure. I was like,
that's pretty bad.
Both of them are just like kind of embarrassing. I think the other one's like significantly more embarrassing for the other people. It's like you gain nothing from beating up a little person at all. There's no respect in it. There's no honor in it. You are just a POS through and through. Like, why?
Well, also, I'm pretty sure there's a nursery rhyme about Humpty Dumpty. Like, he's got to be careful, dude. Like,
gets beat up. He starts singing over his face. What are you gonna do about it? What you gonna do?
God.
That's a ghetto story. But again, Bremerton.
Yeah, Bremerton.
I never.
No, it is weird because like whenever
like Port Orchard was about as far as we got, and I was like, no.
When did we go to? Oh,
yeah. Port Orchard was an adventure.
Was that Amanda?
That was Amanda.
Yeah,
he's cool.
That was a bad night.
But like the whole rest of that situation was a situation. You never stopped me from being me, and I'm gonna have to hold that one on you. Also, you and Leo were just absolutely terrible. No help whatsoever. You and Leo were no help. But that probably brings us to a reverse interview, unless there's any other stories that anyone wants to share at this time.
I mean, I guess I can talk about the time Keith C-blocked me.
Keith,
I was so fucking
that was a hell of a day. I can provide some context for that.
What?
No, we've been cursing this whole time.
Yeah, we've been cursing this whole time.
Why are you saying C-blocked?
His own father did it.
Yeah.
So it can't be a cock block if your dad does it?
It has to be a seed block. You're blocking your own offspring from getting laid.
Oh, a seed block.
Yeah.
Oh, I was a seed block, and all of a sudden I got this big fear that I've been cursing the whole time, and you were too polite to tell me that we weren't supposed to. Okay.
Oh God, no.
No. We would not last 10 minutes hanging out together doing that.
Yeah.
Why are you censoring cock? Why?
We're Japanese porn. You can't see it. You know what it is.
No, so what happened was we were again at the pool.
Because I was volunteering for my senior project, was helping out, teach kids how to swim. Mind you, I can't swim.
Which is hilarious.
And you taught how to swim. I was hanging out with lifeguards, and like they were going through all the strokes with all the kids. You think I want to pick something up? Nope. Pick nothing
Wasn't
up.
Anna in your class?
Anna was not in my class, but that day I happened to volunteer to get my hours. Anna's swim meet.
Oh, that's
that day, so I had to help with the lifeguards. So I was sitting there surrounded by two of them. I was filling out reports of, blah, 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 finished first. Blah, 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 finished second. Blah, 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 blah. Whole bunch of crap. I'm hanging out with them, and Brock is now bored out of his mind because you were running clock for whatever reason.
Yeah.
For everybody. You were really, really happy about it for whatever reason. I think you were just bored, and it was just something to do.
Yeah, no, because I was bored out of my mind, yeah.
You finally came over, make your way to the table. I'm hanging out with two of them. One of them, I think, leaves, and the one on my left she's a fairly attractive girl. She was a college girl, very well put together, very smart, very funny, very witty. Like, she was very, very attractive.
Mm-hmm.
I was completely disinterested in this whole situation. Like, I work with these people. I already know what all their problems are. I'm good. You started spitting game like I have never seen you spit game. And man, I tell you, I was so proud of you. I was so proud of this moment in time where you guys just instantly clicked. It was one joke after another joke after another joke. Like, the chemistry was evident, and I was just slowly melting back. Like, take it away, Brock. Let it be. Let this happen. Be the moment you scored at the pool. And then your dad saunters over to
fucking
the table. And he sits down, joins the conversation. Everything's going okay. And then I kind of forget.
They got weird quick.
Do you want to provide the specifics? Because like some of the specifics are a little hazy on my end.
So what happened was my dad came over, sat down with us for whatever fucking reason, and my dad just starts like shutting me down and like interrupting me and like kind of roasting me a little bit. And I don't remember how it came up, but Mardi Gras came up, that huge party in New Orleans. And I was like, oh yeah, that would be cool to experience. And then my dad goes, oh no, you wouldn't be able to go to that. And I'm just like, what the fuck? So any chemistry or anything like that just immediately died.
Because like his logic that he said was, it was like you couldn't experience Mardi Gras because you'd be too busy staring at people's thighs the entire time and you get lost.
Something like that.
And I was like, this is your own son who was spitting games. She went to college in Louisiana. She was just happened to be there because her family.
Yeah, that's right.
So she was trying to get you to come out and come see her while she was out partying. So I was like, that makes sense. 2 and 2.
Yeah.
It's like Brock's a good time at a party. She goes to a party school. Mardi Gras.
Yeah.
Perfect. Everyone's happy. Not your dad. Not your dad.
Well, he can't stand for anyone else to be the center of attention ever.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's spot on too. And do you remember, side note, Brent, do you remember when we were again at the pool and my dad invited you to a baseball game and you're like, can Brock come too? And just go, I guess.
This is also time to bring up context. Like there was one time where I was over at your house and like me and your dad were just talking. I mean, like we were talking for like almost an hour. You were there.
Yeah.
He wouldn't let you talk. Like your mom was in the background, your sister was in the background. Me and him were just talking. And then no context, no nothing, just out of the blue. He just looks me dead in the eyes like, sometimes, Brent, it feels like you're the son I always wanted. What?
In front of me.
What the fuck? Like Brock is right there. I just panicked, looked at him like, I didn't do this. I'm so sorry.
Dude, okay, so you're gonna have to have an episode on daddy issues, is what.
Yes, that's a good point. Yeah, we might bring you back on for that because we have some.
Yes, that's what I was hoping.
Yeah,
I have a good story for that.
Oh, perfect. We'll definitely do that.
Given the brother context, I have no idea where to run with the dad context.
We have a lot of stories about my dad, so we'll definitely have an episode dedicated to that.
If he doesn't try and shut us down before then.
I can't do
it. Just for like
that'd be fucking hilarious.
Just a 2-minute segment, just
because he's already been part of like four stories since episode
outside
5.
of that.
Yeah. Well, now that I think about it, we've had a story involving him pretty much every episode, Brent.
Well,
he is the new center of attention.
Come on and be like, look how strong I am. Oh. I'm running.
How much weight I've lost.
Like, have him do his little thing that he does.
Yeah.
It is pretty funny when he does that little bit.
Yeah.
He's been testing that out, working through the kinks and the hijinks of that little skit for a long time.
It's almost perfected.
Mm-hmm. That being said, we're talking about perfection. The reverse interview process. Poke some holes in with us and try and figure out,
I'm so nervous.
What you have prepared for us.
Okay, well, I was given no context into what the reverse interview was supposed to be, so I just have random.
No, I gave you context. You're just hammered.
Oh shit. Okay. Well,
this is last time I was over.
Oh my god. Okay. How many cool S's did you draw in high school?
What?
You know what I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about. It's like you assume Brock was paying any sort of attention to anything going on in high school.
Oh yeah, I definitely was not. I was selling drugs and
you were selling drugs to the extent that you completely missed the cool S phase.
Pretty much.
I did the plus sign and then I do a little and then I turn it into a maze. One time it got mistaken for a swastika and then I just stopped entirely.
I do remember that.
I was like, never again. Because I did the plus sign, but I did it at an angle, like not paying any attention. I was like, kind of looked at it, and the teacher looked and was like,
Wasn't that
Looked at the
Garrity's
paper, looked
class?
at me. It was comfort. It was the teacher that gave up being a lawyer so he could be a history teacher to us. And he looked at me, and he's like, "You shouldn't be doing that."
He hated me.
Me and him got along so well. He was a great teacher. It's just at the same time, it was like, yeah, I just kind of tore that piece of paper off, even though it like had pivotal stuff for the test. Throw it in the trash. I'm like, nope, this is never seeing the light of day. It's like,
he had fun fact. We had a teacher in high school named Mr. Comfort, and he fucking hated me because I made a joke where I called him Mr. Comfort, and he fucking heard.
Look, it's better than the musical teacher's name, okay?
What was the musical teacher's name?
Her last name was Mrs. Gockel. So a lot of people called her Mrs. Cockhole.
Yeah, I do remember that.
And her husband worked there, and he was Mr. Cockhole. And everyone pronounced it like that to his face. And he did nothing about it.
All the teachers hated me. The only one that didn't was Miss Rogers.
She was hella cool. She just didn't give a shit. She loved us, but she just didn't give a shit about your shit. You tried to start up, be like, "Oh, I'm going through this." No one cares. Pay attention. Yeah. And afterward, she'd be like, "Yeah, you're probably going through some stuff," and she would like talk you through it. But like, she's like, "Not in the middle of my lesson."
Yeah,
she was cool. But I missed the whole S phase.
Yeah, I did too.
Got a swastika phase instead.
I meant nothing by it, and I did not pertain to any part of that history whatsoever. Not support or endorse at all.
Okay, if Steve Irwin had you pinned down in a headlock, what cool facts would he be telling the audience about your habits and your habitat?
How does this creature do so little but not get fat yet?
Yeah, right. Oh, I don't know. I don't know. Something about my sarcasm.
Okay, as soon as you said Steve Irwin pinned us down, I'm like, where's this going? What's happening? Like, are we desecrating this sacred man? What happened?
Oh, like this little guy loves when you. I don't know. That was the end of my.
This little guy loves it when you leave him alone and get off of him. This creature is better in isolation.
Oh my god. Okay, without saying what the category is, what are your top 3?
Oh god.
That's hard to answer because now I'm trying to think of a topic.
The only thing that's coming to mind is the thing that you're trying to insinuate should come to mind. I'm like, I'm answering that on air. Start naming movie genres, Brock.
Crime, drama, comedy, and action.
Yeah, pretty dang close to that.
Yeah. What about you, Brent?
Yeah. Comedy, thriller, and drama.
Oh, thrillers.
I'm actually starting to enjoy drama movies now.
Yeah. So you guys went for the same category?
What category did you want us to delve into?
I don't know. I wanted to see where you would go with it, and you were like, "Oh, let me just ride on Brock's coattails."
The story of my life.
Okay, honestly, same though. Yeah. Okay, what was an idea that you came up with when you were super high that was super, super amazing? And was it that cool when you were sober?
I have one.
Okay.
Brock, I know you know exactly what I'm talking about.
I think
it was a thing that became a business legitimately and made a lot of money. But I was drunk when I thought of the idea with you. We were hanging out, and I was like, we need to make little indentations for condoms to make them look like top hats. And we thought it was the greatest fucking idea ever. And then come to find out, someone else has already done it because we waited on it and didn't do anything with it, and they made a lot of money off of it. It was a great idea. It just sounds stupid when you're sober. Like, who wants to invest in top hats? I mean,
I would invest in top hats.
It's like, imagine you're just about to go down on, dude. What the fuck is that? Abraham Lincoln down there? What is that?
Dapper.
Oh, what a gentleman. And then carry on. All right, Brock.
That's what I was going to bring up, and that was
now
my
you're
idea,
riding my
by the way.
coattails, huh? I don't have any. For those of you,
I'm trying to think. I tend not to have good ideas when high or drunk.
I don't know about that. I'm trying to think of an idea you had.
See, it's harder than you think.
Yeah. I come up with jokes. That's about it.
It's usually the more hurt you are, the better your humor is. I don't
This
know
is
why.
true.
But again, comedians have made an entire industry built off of pain and suffering and turn it around to make people enjoy themselves. So it's
yes.
like, good for you guys.
Yeah, there's a saying, show me a happy comedian and I'll show you somebody who's not funny.
Oh, man. I have, when was your best orgasm? Or in other words, how long has it been going downhill for you?
Senior year of high school.
That long ago, huh?
I can pinpoint the exact thing that happened that just made my brain go. It's like, fine, I'm going into context because this needs to be said.
Yeah, I know. We're kind of waiting on you, Brent.
There was a girl I was seeing who was significantly out of my league. Like, had to have had daddy issues. Didn't ascertain, but, not speculating, but I have to believe. Redhead, blue eyes, big boobs, thick ass, skinny. Everything's going good. Things are happening. Things are transpiring. And then she's like, lay down. I'm like, okay. Not arguing in this point in time. She literally does the splits. I go in, and it was one of the most breathtaking sights I have seen to this day and will live rent-free in my mind. It's just like, this is really happening. God bless America. Just God bless America. Felt so patriotic at that point in time. Best moment. So it's been a long 10 years, Brock. Even having a gun pulled on me, it didn't get better.
I'd have to say mine is with the chick that was texting me that one time.
I hope so. I hope she lived up to her performance.
Yeah, not that long ago. Only like 3 years ago.
Yeah, I'm going on 10, man. I'm going on 10. I was a good kid till I started hanging out with you, and I want that to be established firmly on the record.
Oh yeah, I definitely.
No drinking, no cussing. Was not involved with women in any weird context. There was no one-night stands. There was no whoring about. There was no sexting. Nothing. I was through and through good. And then
along comes Brock. Yeah, I fucking ruined you. I'm sorry, Brent.
I had a chance of being a real adult.
See, and when me and Brock met, he was friends with my very wholesome, sweet sister. And then we met and we were like, yeah. I recognize that sort of person.
Good job. Brock.
Yeah,
and that's why I was like, do you want to work at a pawn shop? Because
yeah.
You look like a pawnbroker.
Oh, Brock.
And I was good at it as long as paperwork wasn't involved.
That is very true.
Yeah.
Okay, have you ever taken a massive war crime level shit outside of your own house and then been too proud to flush it? Where was the toilet?
No. I usually don't like pooping in public bathrooms, though. I just
you're weird like that.
Says the guy who's used some of the most questionable bathrooms I have seen in mankind's history at any gas station that's accessible. You're like, I'll trust this gas station sushi. An hour later, I need to find a bathroom. I need to find a bathroom.
That was a common theme when we did our road trips.
It's not a tiny bladder. Leave him alone.
Which bathroom, Brock? Where did you do your proudest war crime?
I'd have to say...
There's a lot of them. It's like you got a ranking system going in your head.
Right? I'm trying to remember what the function was called. Well, it was one of the Amway functions we went to.
Was it the one where we went to Spokane, or was it The one where we went to Seattle.
Portland.
That's honestly the best answer because fuck Amway.
Oh my god.
That's the topic of next week's show.
Yeah, didn't you do Amway too?
Kinda, and Judah did.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it was at least fun dressing up for a while. It was like dressing nice and seeing like what you really look like when you give a shit. Like that was cool.
Yeah.
Like there was some fun stuff like involved, but I remember the first time she kind of told me about it, I was like, "Oh, that's a scam," and she was like, "No, it isn't." And then they like got so mad at me whenever I said that for like years.
Yeah. Well, I think wasn't Judah still doing it when I met you guys? Because I remember you guys had those energy drinks all the time. Yeah.
What were those energy drinks? They were actually pretty good.
I liked the energy drinks, but fuck Amway. That's all I'm saying.
Oh yeah, we actually have our next episode is dedicated to fuck Amway. So
how not to be an entrepreneur?
Yeah,
fantastic.
Yeah, that'll be fun. We this one guy, I used to do karate with him, and he recruited me, and that was a whole ordeal because Kaicho, my instructor, hated Amway. Do you remember that, Brent? Like,
no, anytime you talked about Kaicho, I just kind of stopped listening. You revered this man as a god to the point like he never could have done anything wrong, and I was like, all right, blind worship, you know. It's like whenever people talk about religion, I'm just like, you know, and I'll just be sitting there. I was like, what do I want for dinner? Did I do my laundry today? I hope I did. I hope I have clean clothes to come home to. You know that mental checklist everyone has.
Whenever I mention Kaicho, you tune me out. That's good to know.
I mean, he made me hate the song "Girls, Girls, Girls." That was. I never thought that was possible.
You already hate the song "Girls, Girls, Girls"?
I did not, surprisingly. That was okay. And then
I was like,
after that,
maybe he did you a favor, bro. I don't know. You'd still be singing in your shower today. Girls, girls, girls. This man. Maybe he is a god. Quit writing him off.
Maybe I should listen.
Yeah, Brent, I subjected him to a lot of my hair metal.
I feel your pain.
It was a trial and error process.
Except for Bon Jovi. Jovi.
We're not going to besmirch Bon Jovi on this podcast. I hope. I feel like their name being synonymous with everything else that's been talked about in this episode, from guns and buttholes to like just weird walk-ins. Like, yeah, Bon Jovi one day checks out the podcast, finds out why they're mentioned. What? Just take them off the air now.
Hey, if I get sued by Bon Jovi, I'm wearing that like a badge of honor.
I'm not, because then we don't have an excuse to hang out.
That's true.
I'm sure he'd applaud it with his massive ham hands. Have you seen them? Have you seen Bon Jovi's hands? Yeah. They're huge. Why are they so huge? They're disproportionately large. It's weird.
This just in: Mica is a hand-sized supremacist.
Hand-sized supremacist.
You know what they say about big hands, right? Big gloves. Fucking pervert.
Oh. I wasn't thinking about Bon Jovi like that. I'm just going to point that out. He's a weird-looking person, but I music.
This just in: Mica does not accept weird-looking people.
I'm a judgmental person for sure. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate that, actually. Good for you. Any other reverse interview questions?
Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. Who normally ruins your family Christmas, and what would be your plan to one-up them this year?
It's still me. I made my mom cry on the day before Christmas. So
why?
When was that?
She wanted to go Christmas tree shopping, and I just could not be bothered. I had better things to do, which was probably just sit in my room and watch like Dragon Ball Z or something stupid. Something stupid and completely unimportant could have waited.
Yeah.
But as a teenager, this is important. I need to focus on this. So my mom we're at the point where I'm about to leave high school. My sister is in the middle of high school, and my mom's like, this is probably the last year we can get a real tree and just decorate as a family. So for her, this is a milestone. Yeah. For me, it's just another day where I just can't be bothered. So she delivers this spiel about how we're going Christmas tree shopping. Fuck that. Was like my literal words, fuck that. And to this day, I can still picture the hurt on her face, and I'm a mama's boy, like through and through. I can still picture her hurt, and like the tears started to well up, and then I just look over at my dad, and my dad is one of those people. He's super passive. Yeah. But if anyone hurts my mom, he's a whole nother world of anger. Don't want to deal with. I just turn and look at him, and I see the anger well up. I don't even wait for this conversation to finish. I just book it down the stairs. And Brock, you know how my bed was tall enough, I could run and jump and slide under it and just kind of like hide in there. And it was like I was in a horror movie, like in camera. No one can tell me nothing. Next thing you know, rip, rug burn all the way up my chest. And he's like, he literally picks me up by the back of my hoodie I was wearing. He's like, you're gonna fucking go, and you're gonna make this special for your mother. Or so help me God, I'm going to find a new way to torture you and make your life miserable. Do you understand? It's like, mind you, my dad is sweet. He's wholesome. He's a really, really nice guy. So to hear these words was like, uh-oh. It's like if he said rat's ass, that was his level of swearing. Yeah. that was, to this day, he still calls Brock Brockstar.
That's where I got. He's like the one who gave me that nickname.
The one who wears like the white New Balances and still like tries hanging out with the cool kids. And everyone thinks cool because he's trying really, really hard. Yeah. But to see my dad pissed like that, I was like, yep. So I ruined Christmas, and that's not been one up since. I'm not going to attempt to. I'm so sorry, Mom. Yeah. My bad. Also, if you listen to podcast long enough to hear this, I am so sorry.
Oh, I know my mom will disown me after this episode drops.
She's gonna look at me in a completely different light.
Yeah. My mom still sees me as innocent, which is fucking hilarious.
I was the one that kept you out of jail most instances, so she's welcome.
Yeah, you're the one. Yeah, well, I won't bring that story up, but
my dad already thinks I'm a whore, so I can't ruin it for you.
There's no context for this. What do I do with this information? I don't know. Brock, have you ruined Christmas for your family, or did Anna do it?
No, it was always my dad.
So how are you going to one-up him?
I don't know. I don't know how I could.
I feel like it'll involve whiskey.
No, he doesn't drink anymore.
I'm talking about you.
Oh.
You're going to one-up him. It'll have to involve whiskey.
Oh, I'll just get shit faced on. I'll just get shit tanked on Christmas.
You remember that time you told Brent he was never had.
I can sadly see myself doing that.
Brock, don't do that.
I don't know. I was never big into Christmas. I always got left. Remember, my parents would go
always went on vacation on Christmas, so you spent Christmas with me and my family because my family was like, "Is Brock coming over?" And so you would always come over at Christmas. We'd have a whole plate set up for you. We had the puzzle left. They wouldn't let me finish the puzzle, so we could work on it together, and then we talk about what gifts we got, and then we go fuck around.
Oh yeah, you guys are definitely like a second family for me.
See, I stole Brock for Christmas now.
Yeah.
He is.
I do look forward to that every year. We have a new Christmas tradition.
We drink a bottle of wine each on Christmas Eve.
Oh, Brock, you're
and set up all the presents and stuff.
Yeah.
One time, I got really drunk, and I decided that I was gonna fart on Brock, and he was not a fan of the idea. So we spent like probably an hour or two of Christmas Eve like running around the house. Like I was running backwards, like, and Brock was trying to hide.
It's the only known occasion. No, this will be the second occasion Brock has ran from a woman. I forgot you ran from your sister when you guys were little.
What's that story? I don't remember that story.
The one where she had a knife.
Oh, fuck, that's right.
A nightmare.
Anna had a moment. Like she sounded cool, but like, just back then she had a moment and you probably did something to it, nag her on. And
for sure. I was always picking on her, but like in a
may even be like a
brotherly sibling way. But she just hadn't had enough, and she pulled a fucking knife on me.
Yeah, this is a hour and 50, and it feels like we've only been talking 5-10 minutes.
Holy shit! This is the longest episode we've done.
This could be a two-parter. We'll just have one will drop Wednesday, one will drop Friday. You never know.
Maybe.
And I didn't even get to tell my horrible threesome story.
Oh, then
Yeah,
bring
we'll
it
wrap
in.
up
We
with
got
that.
10 minutes. Bring it home the way every man wishes he could.
This is not that kind of threesome. Okay. Are you sure?
Oh yeah.
One time. Floor is yours.
Okay. So this is obviously a long time before I met you, Brock. This is my first year at college.
Mm-hmm.
And I was raised like extremely religious, extremely sheltered.
Sexually
and so,
repressed.
yeah, so I don't know if you've ever met someone who was raised like that and then just gets freedom.
We both were.
Like, oh shit. Okay, so you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was doing. It was my first year of college. I say that to sound like I continued going to college, but it was also my only year of college.
Like
so because I
Yeah.
spent all my money and time on drugs. Anyway, so me and my girlfriend at the time, we had a friend who would sell us her prescriptions, and for some reason this bitch would get like prescriptions for Adderall and Xanax and like a bunch of other shit. Like what? Who's prescribing someone Adderall and Xanax? You know?
That's a weird fucking mix.
Right. So anyway, we used to buy Adderall from her. She was the kind of grody person. She lived in her mom's basement, and she had a wall where her gentleman callers could expel their seed because she didn't like condoms, but they had to pull out, right? So she had a cum wall in the basement.
Oh.
That's so fucking gross.
Okay. This is the kind of person.
Imagine reselling that home in a couple of years. That's the cum wall. This is my children play.
It really was. And she would show it off like she was proud of it. Like she's like, yeah, that's my cum wall. Huh. Like, you know, that kind of person.
Yeah.
So anyway, she was friends with me and my girlfriend at the time. And we were there and hanging out in her basement like we sometimes did when we wanted to buy drugs, but you have to hang out with them. You know what I'm talking about?
Make it less weird, like less disingenuous.
And so she's like, hey, you know, you guys always buy Adderall. You want to try Xanax? I'll give you one for free, you know? And we're like, sure. So she gives us a Xanax. I never had one before. And I'll tell you what, that's not my drug. That does nothing for me. I started to feel like the ceiling was like really way lower than it was because it was already a basement. And I started to feel like super heavy and everything felt very inevitable, you know?
Yeah.
And then like I'm in the midst of this horrible high that I don't like at all. And she's like, yeah, I always was kind of curious what it'd be like to be with a woman, you know?
As people often do.
And me and my girlfriend at the time were like, oh yeah, like all fucked up. Like, like we can't drive at this point. She's like, yeah, why don't we try? You just want to have a threesome? Like, and we were like, okay, yeah, all right. I felt like I couldn't say no. It's like it just was gonna happen.
Yeah.
So she like gets undressed. She's very
misshapen,
unattractive, and does not clean well.
Oh.
I don't know if you can tell from the cum wall story, but so and I was like, I'm not gonna let this girl's first time with a woman make her think, you know, no, I'm not bi or whatever. I'm not gonna be the person that like sets her back, you know, like give her the best experience I can give her because I felt the responsibility. Like this is her first time with a woman, you know, it's gotta be good. But my girlfriend, who's also very high, is sitting on the end of the bed like this and refuses to participate. Like, she, like looks horrified, like, oh my God, no. And so I go down there and she's got like little toilet paper pieces and stuff. Like, it's just bad.
Oh my God.
You're a brave woman.
I just went for it. I was like, she's gonna have a good time. That's all I can do. And she's like still like talking to my girlfriend. She's like, why aren't you doing something? Come on.
So fucking gross.
And I'm like, I can do this. I have no standards. I can do this. And in the middle of it, she starts making noises.
Not the hot kind.
No. They sounded like like
That'll get you in the mood.
Yeah, right.
It's like, excuse me.
And that's that was my first threesome. So that's
It's twosome plus a watcher.
It was kind of a too simplistic to watch. I remember that she like took the girlfriend's hand and like put it places, and the girlfriend would be like, she was too high to like really say anything, but it was all in the face. Like,
that is
oh my gosh,
fucking horrible.
I feel like I went
in other words, how to
you.
disappoint
Sorry.
two women at the same time.
What?
What?
It's like a threesome, how to
didn't-
disappoint two women at the same time.
I'm sorry that I ended your episode on a raunchy level. I think I thought that was maybe funny.
That's the whole point of this episode. Don't be sorry.
This whole episode is supposed to be raunchy.
Yeah.
I think we accomplished that.
Yeah.
I was
for
like,
sure.
I laughed so hard, I'm pretty sure I'm blushing just due to laughing. It's like, I guess this can still happen. Whew. Brock, you wanna take this one home, buddy?
Yeah, so that's it for today's episode. Be sure to message our Gmail, which is livingwithhumorbooking@gmail.com, and submit your questions to Uncle Tony or Dr. Love. Check us out next week.
Yep, and we are on TikTok, Patreon, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And if you haven't hit that watermark for the subscribe button, we greatly appreciate it. If we hit a certain milestone, we may be able to pull like even bigger name guests than we're already pulling right now. So we appreciate your guys' support. Thank you, Mica, for coming on and keeping Brock out of most legal troubles that he possibly involved in. And guys, we'll see you in the next episode. How not to be an entrepreneur.